everybody. We are back. I don't know about better than ever, but we're certainly here for the Fresh Takes podcast with Russo and Felice. I am Paul Russo, if you can't already know, and if you do know, you still know.
Paul, there might be new viewers.
I know. Might be new viewers, blah, blah, blah. But Nick's across from me as always. And Nick, how you doing today, bud?
You know, I'm a year older now. I'm more wise. I like to think I am. This is episode 38 of the Fresh Takes podcast on Finger Lakes 1. Yep, 38 episodes.
You've been here a while now.
Almost a year.
Yeah.
And this might be the best show of all time.
Let's hope. Certainly we had a fun show tonight, I feel like.
We might have a cliffhanger after this.
Cliffhanger?
Mm-hmm. Gotta get the people reeled in.
I don't know about cliffhanger. This is a podcast, but you never know, apparently. But, hey, the big news of the sports weekend, definitely Tiger winning the Masters. He is back. Of course, we might be taking things a little bit too far, but the hype is fun around Tiger and golf right now, so...
We're a little delayed.
We'll obviously discuss...
We're not live till Tuesday.
No. The playoffs in the NHL and NBA. NHL playoffs have been wacky.
Pour one out for Paul.
We will get to that, though, in that segment. We won't quite break that news just yet. The NBA playoffs are, for the most part, everyone's 2 games deep at this point, I think. I think San Antonio and Denver are currently playing their second game, though.
I think it takes 3 weeks to play one round.
Yeah. We alluded to it last week, but I went to Richmond this past weekend with my dad for the NASCAR races. We will touch on that a little bit. Had some fun there, so I'll let you in on that. And in honor of one of Nick's favorite shows and a show that I could really care less about, Game of Thrones coming back. If you know anything about the show, a lot of fights, a lot of various things go on in there, including... But
I brought it to you.
I'm very excited. This is a fun Nick topic that he came up with. So we will be discussing our favorite sports fights.
You're excited.
So I'm very excited for that. That's
But we have to go to work.
Yeah, that tends to be something we don't usually obviously touch on. In today's day and age, you don't get too much of the fight and the brawl anymore in sports. Kind of, in all honesty, a little bit disappointing, I'd say. But recently your Pirates were involved in a brawl.
Your hockey might be cutting down.
Hockey. There's always fights. But there is one of my favorite fights was a hockey fight. So we'll save that. Obviously, we'll get to it then. So without further ado, Tiger. Like I said, he's back. Won the Masters at -13 on the weekend. 1 stroke ahead of 3 people tied for second. In Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and Xander Schauffele. So, I wanted to say souffle there, but yeah.
Probably not.
I was able to watch Thursday I was able to watch a little bit of once we got checked into the hotel. Thursday and Friday tend to be obviously the longer days. So Thursday when I checked in the hotel at Richmond, we were able to tune in for that. Friday didn't see too much action. Really only saw highlights. Same deal Friday and Sunday. Didn't see a lick of it because I was in a car pretty much the whole day. When Tiger won, I was in the town of Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, home of the Bucknell Bison. Yeah, that being said, I wasn't able to see too much live action, but the highlights I saw were really awesome and really fun to watch. A lot of interesting stuff, I thought, in the tournament overall. The guys that we typically put up there, and at least the current day, the favorites. Dustin, I thought, was the only one that was actually kind of consistent the whole way through.
Got hot.
He did get hot, though.
Just a little too late.
I thought his Thursday and Friday did good.
He played well.
Saturday, I thought he tailed off a little bit, came back up strong, though. Was it Jason Day ended up tied 5th with Francesco Molinari, Webb Simpson, and Tony Finau, but wasn't he battling back issues the whole tournament?
Jason Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought he did well, all things considered, there at -11.
And obviously, the biggest story was your boy, Molinari, just flat out choking.
Yeah, he's not really my boy.
You like him?
I like him because he's Italian. Yes. I mean, really no other reason outside of that.
2 balls in the water.
Man, I thought going into Sunday, though, I thought my dark horse pick was going to win, though, Tony Finau.
Yeah?
He did pretty well, except on Sunday.
He'll win.
And then like I said, the other guys, Ricky Fowler kind of came up strong there on Sunday. He had a pretty...
Yeah, you got to feel for him.
I'd call pedestrian-type tournament. Pretty much was only there Thursday, Friday, even Saturday. But Sunday came on pretty good, in my opinion. Bubba Watson...
he got hot.
He got hot there, too. Again, ho-hum, interstate pedestrian-type deal first couple of days. I ended up pretty much skyrocketing on Saturday and still on Sunday a little bit there.
Yeah.
Your boy John Rahm was up there for a while the first couple of days. What happened there? I don't know.
He's got the tools. He's kind of like Ricky. He has that one not so good round, and it costs him. But you picked Ricky, right?
Well, I picked Ricky because he's my favorite.
I ended up, my final decision was Spieth, even though Brooks Koepka is my man. I like John Rahm, too.
What happened to Spieth anyway, man? He ended up -5, tied at 21st.
Started off slow,
but he didn't seem like he was in. I remember Thursday checking in the hotel, and he missed like a gimme putt, and I'm like, what the hell is up with Spieth?
He was inconsistent, yeah.
So,
and even on Sunday, he buried the first 2 holes. Thought he was gonna get hot. I think he bogeyed 3, and it just set him way back. He was too many strokes behind anyway. But I did like the rain. The rain, which caused the tournament to start early on Sunday. And it felt like a British Open vibe where the winner was announced at 3 o'clock. I like that. It wouldn't be opposed if they went to that. I like that it's over early. Just get out of the way. It gets exciting. Can't wait till 3 o'clock to see the leaders tee off. But overall, I thought it was an awesome Masters. The ending was a little slow. Tiger did pull away at the end there because Koepka missed the 1 eagle and he missed the birdie on 18. And so Tiger really pulled away, especially after that shot on 16.
What hole was it? Because I saw the highlights of it. I forget. What hole was it where he missed a putt and he gave one of those type deals? I'm like, there it is. There's the moment that he loses it.
Koepka?
No, Tiger.
I don't remember what the hole, but yeah, there's really Tiger should really.
Oh, wrong one.
Pat is not here today, Paul.
Wrong button.
He's not here.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Pretty sure he'll be back next week, but
he will be. It was almost going to be back to this week. But.
Tiger should really thank Francesco Molinari for just messing up because he was just playing extremely well. He went 50 holes without a bogey. It was his tournament to lose, and he lost it. But not saying that Tiger was given it. He had to earn it as well. He had that shot in 16, like I mentioned. But it was just awesome Masters. Sunday got really tense when all these other guys Bob would start making a run. Dustin made a run. Patrick Cantley made an eagle and was in the lead. He even got an ESPN update on my phone.
One of your guys, Bryson DeChambeau, I see, finished kind of low.
Yeah, he was good early on, and then he just fell off, I think, Friday, actually. And made the cut, but he's good.
Oh, no. Oh.
I don't like his hat that he wears, but Tiger, he knows that course better than anyone. That was the real difference. I mean, Finau's young, doesn't know the course like Tiger did. But you like to think Finau can win in the future someday, but Ricky Fowler's been saying that for a while now, and he hasn't gotten it done. And he continues to play well. You hope he finally gets it done. I'm happy that Tiger won. I did have Brooks Koepka $300 if he had won. It's $1,600 if Kisner would have pulled it out, but Kisner, he fell after Thursday. But they're saying, because there's a couple majors coming up where Tiger dominates. I know Pebble Beach is one of them, and I'm not sure what the other one is. And they think Tiger can win a couple more majors.
This year?
This year, because there's 2 tournaments. Pebble Beach is one of them, and another one, and he dominates these courses. Let's just chillax, all right? Tiger just won his first major in 11 years. And we think he's going to win 3? No. I think he's good with the one. I think he'll compete. Will he win? No.
Remains to be seen.
I think Ricky could win one. I hope Ricky wins one. But, man, the way Koepka plays in majors, it's going to be tough to beat him.
So,
Molinari.
Quick question for you. And I'll begin it with this statement. I feel like every major we have like a new like cultural like hero pop up. You know what I mean? Like a few years ago, I think it was in the U.S. Open, you have Beef Johnston. You know what I mean? So Thursday, we're watching the Masters, and this guy comes up named Effie Barnrat.
Yep.
And I was just dying at this like unit of a man. Like,
you know, I actually have a fun story about Effie Barnrat.
But like, I'm sitting there going like, there's no way this man is currently tied for the lead at the Masters. Like,
I actually have a funny story about Effie Barnrat.
Oh.
So I went to the...
Pop the trunk.
Went to the only time I've ever gone to a golf event was the PGA Championship, second round, 2013, at Oak Hill in Rochester. And we were in the back with a bunch of no-names. So we were like right up next to these guys teeing off.
Yeah.
So there's nobody in the back. And Effie Barnrat was one of them. And Effie Barnrat? You used to call him Aberrant. But I don't know his name.
I feel like we're like mispronouncing his name.
So there's a bush next to the tee box. He goes in the back of the bush and takes a piss.
I knew that's where it was going.
And it was like, I had no idea who the guy was at the time.
You thought it was just like a spectator?
Yeah, and he's taking a piss. One of the guys that throws up the quiet signs, he's like, is he taking a piss? And he was. He had a laugh, and then he flipping crushed it after that on the drive. He could definitely drive the ball. He's good. But, yeah, it was cool to see those known names. And I learned some of them. Shane Lowry's one of them. You know, there's some names out there. But definitely, you know, it's cool to watch Tiger with all the people. But definitely cool to be up in person watching these guys tee up because they all can hit the ball really well. And I hear the senior tours at Oak Hill in May.
Yeah, they are. They are doing.
I might go to that.
I think it's the senior PGA Championship is at Oak Hill. So.
Yeah. It's very weird to go to a sporting event at 7 in the morning. I will tell you that.
Good thing you didn't come to NASCAR races.
Well,
I'll rephrase that. Like a night race weekend because on Friday track activity at Richmond started at 8 a.m. and gates opened at like 6:30. So.
Yeah, it's definitely odd, but definitely highly recommend it. Go to a golf.
I know another part of the Masters. I saw a little bit on social media after the fact, and people were like questioning it. I'll give my take first because mine's going to be shorter. I feel like, but I want your opinion. People were talking about how Patrick Reed was very, I guess, didn't congratulate Tiger at all.
Yeah.
And all that. And I don't think many, I guess casual golf fans probably don't know, but like Patrick Reed isn't exactly the most well-liked guy on the tour.
He's not one of my favorites.
He's a bit of, I mean, for lack of whatever, he's a dick. I mean, they golfers say that, like, he's not one, like, people are like, oh, is there beef between him and Tiger? Like, no, like, there's beef between Patrick Reed and the whole field.
Yeah, there was the rumors about Spieth and him.
So, yeah, I mean, so, like, I'm sitting there like, it's not a big deal. Like, I don't think people know that he obviously doesn't like him. I don't know. Clearly, I think you saw it the same way I did, so maybe there's not much more to it, I guess, between us on this one.
Yep.
I mean, any other differing thoughts?
No, he's definitely, I've heard a lot of stories about him. Not a lot of people are fans. There's him, Ian Poulter, not very well liked on the tour.
See, the Poulter one surprises me, but
yeah, he's just he's a baby. That's what I hear. He complains a lot, goes to the judge, the ref, or whatever they call it in golf. Goes to them a lot. He's just a baby. I don't like Matt Kuchar now because he's cheap.
Oh yeah, I kind of like Kuchar a little bit, but yeah.
I'm not a huge Rory or Justin Thomas guy.
Thank you. Justin Thomas I don't understand a little bit either, but I'm glad I'm not the only one who just doesn't like Rory. There's something about him.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Like, he walks around like his shit doesn't stink or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. But it can't all be Ricky Fowler's. Because I always am going to say to the day, Ricky Fowler is the nicest guy in sports.
Ricky.
Hands down. I don't think there's anybody that's even close. That guy is at the end of each tournament.
Oh, no, nicest guy in sport. That's a good debate.
He's there every time. You'll see any tournament Ricky Fowler's in, he's there at the end.
That's a good debate we can kind of have. Nicest guy in all sports.
I hands down believe that.
People said, like, back in the day in his prime, Jim Thome was a nice guy.
Maybe. I caught the end of his career. But, yeah, I would hands down say it, and I really hope he wins. I hope he wins one. And I just want to say one more time, congratulations to Tiger. My mom's a huge Tiger fan. He got it done on our birthday, her birthday as well. So it was a big day. It would have been something if it was minus 14, because that's the day of the birthday. But she'll always remember that, Tiger winning on her birthday. But
what a perfect birthday gift.
Yeah, I gave her flowers, but I guess Tiger was bigger. I didn't give her flowers. I don't have that kind of money.
Closing thoughts on the golf? I feel like we've kind of run our course on it.
I say the name to watch out for at the end of this year. The name to watch out for, I'm gonna go with Bryson DeChambeau. No, Bryson DeChambeau is not bad, but Xander Schauffele. I'll just go. That guy.
You've been saying it for the past 2 years now with him.
My brother's the huge Xander Schauffele fan, but that kid's got the tools, man. And I hope he gets one. But go Koepka.
Like I said, Ricky needs to win one this year.
Yes, he does.
So
Dustin needs to win another one too. I'm never going to say Dustin's an elite golfer until he gets two. You got to get two.
Yeah. So, well, we will move on now to a grammatically erred panel, but it is what it is. Stanley Cup playoffs, they are nuts right now. So breaking news, spoiler alert, the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight were swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets. And then for good measure, this one happened literally 2 minutes ago. I got the update. The New York Islanders have swept the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Wow. So,
man, this has been a wacky NHL playoff, Stanley Cup playoff run so
Nothing
far.
What you said.
Yeah, obviously you got the President's Cup trophy, a historic team in the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Your team.
My team. They get swept. They did not look like they really had any ambition that series.
Was it even close?
No, pretty much throughout the whole entire series.
Game one set the tone.
Well, not so much a game one. You can give up one. I think I even said it last week on my predictions for it that Columbus will win one out of these games. That's just the way the Lightning are. But, man, if you were to tell me they were going to sweep, nuts. Lightning were picked at 48% in the bracket challenge, on NHL's bracket challenge, to win the Stanley Cup. So, obviously this part we can dive into more, but as a Lightning fan, they got to switch something up. But look at from the playoff side, Columbus, they were hot kind of going in a little bit, even though they kind of squeaked in. Team in turmoil, and they're firing all cylinders right now. Tortorella's got them going. Bravosky this made their goalie Kyle Bravosky pretty much really standing out his head, doing well in net right now. Had a little bit of a rougher game tonight, but he's doing well. He's doing everything he can. Offensively, that team's cranking out on all cylinders right now. Defensively, you gotta give them a little bit of credit, even though Tampa Bay's offense was not doing anything. But hey, a lot of credit to them on that one. You want to look down at the Pens. My worry for them kind of came true. They did not seem as if they were quick enough on their feet, especially from the defensive end. And the Islanders, in my mind, they might be that team you need to watch out for now in the East, because you have Boston a little bit on the skates against Toronto. That series is going to probably be a 7 bloodbath knockout type series at this rate, with the physicality of it between all these hits. Like Kadri's suspended the rest of the series for Toronto because of his cross check on DeBrusque. So it's going to be crazy, that series. That's going to be a bloodbath. Out west, I want to take a quick look. I'm stunned. I think a lot of hockey people overall are stunned that the Blues are on the verge of sweeping the Jets. Did not see that coming. Again, the Jets, this might be the real evaluation summer. Maybe it's time to blow it up because, much like the Lightning, they got a lot of good talent that wants a lot of money, and they don't have that money. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens on that end. Other than that, things are kind of going a little bit ho-hum, if you know what I mean. Nothing really jumps out and stands out to you, I guess, in that regard.
Nice to see the Predators and the Knights 2-1.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of a ho-hum type deal the rest of the way out in many regards. So,
I know it's tough for you right now.
Yeah, no, it's not so much tough. Now you're in a rough spot here if you want to look at it from an analyst side, what to expect in this playoff. It's been topsy-turvy as it has already out east. Do
you think Columbus...
And certainly in the West, too. You don't know what's going to happen. So
you think Columbus can make another run, a deeper run?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can, especially if, one, they're going to be going into the series, in my mind, rested compared to whether they face Toronto or Boston. I thought, all things considered, Boston looked decent last night. Hard to stop Freddie Anderson's playing tremendous goal right now for Toronto. Really, he's making things extremely difficult. A really good offense. People tend to probably see the Bruins, and it's because of their reputation. They tend to see them as a physical, grind you down type team. But that offense is, when it's going on all cylinders like it usually is, it's, regular season wise, you look at it like it's damn near a Tampa Bay offense in that regard. So it will be interesting, I guess, to kind of see what happens there with them a little bit. The other series out east, like I said, a bit ho-hum. Washington, Game 1 they played well. Game 2, they go into an overtime game with Carolina. Carolina's pesky. I mean, they won last night 5-0. So they force certainly a potential of going back to their home ice for the Capitals to win, should they get another game. The Isles won. They swept. A little bit of a stunner there in my mind. Nashville, ho-hum a little bit. They can't seem to exactly quite shake Dallas. And I mean, it's the playoffs. You never know what to expect. But Dallas really going in very well right now, I think, overall. That series has been one goal, each game. Winnipeg and St. Louis, they're still tied at 0-0 right now, and a winner go home for the Jets. So that'll be interesting and fun to see. Out west, too, I'm kind of surprised the Avalanche are hanging with Calgary. Game 4 tomorrow for them. The Avs are up 2-1. Nobody's really making too much mention of that series because of the Tampa Bay's deal, but that Calgary team certainly surprised all year. I think many figured that they'd continue that, myself last week included. I didn't expect to see the Avalanche have a series lead at all in this, even though I figured they'd put up some sort of fight in the deal a little bit. But, They won last night 6-2. That's not, even in a hockey regular season game, that is not something that you as a fan of the team that lost, it's not something you like seeing anyway. So that's something you got to keep an eye on there. Battle of offense pretty much in the Vegas-San Jose series. The winner in each game has at least scored 5 goals. So that would be something to keep an eye on tomorrow. So
you don't have to keep it up, though.
No, I mean, you don't have to keep it up. All you need to do in hockey is just win by literally, obviously in ice sports, win by 1. But in hockey in particular, man, all you need is that one gimme, and if you have a stout goalie and a stout defense the rest of the game, you're fine. So, should be interesting there. Nick, anything you've been paying attention to all, or not really?
Just room for Nashville and Vegas. I like those teams. Would have liked to see your Lightning win, but too soon.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, the Lightning have already released a statement, and I get it. As a fan, I'm disappointed, but man, there's a lot of similarities to this team that they had on the ice during these coming out of the lockout in 2012, 2013. That team had a lot of promise on it and became stagnant fast. And in a similar way, I'm not blaming Stamkos maybe in particular, but you're the captain of that team. Look like you give a shit, I mentioned this at work today to Jim Spina, who's been on before. He has a lot of Vinny, and it's not a knock because Vinny Lecavalier is obviously he'll be on the Mount Rushmore for the Lightning forever, but towards the end of his run in Tampa Bay, he became stagnant in that regard like Stamkos has, and I'm not saying you trade him away, but you got to perk him up. If that means giving him an A patch instead of the C patch, then I'd say go ahead and do it, but is what it is, I'd say. I don't know. So with that in mind, we'll keep on, I guess, the playoff, obviously, motif. And the NBA playoffs haven't been, I guess, they're only 2 games deep in their series. But I wouldn't say, obviously, as ho-hum in some series, maybe some in others.
Michael Wilbon says that game last night was historic.
Historic in what way?
One of the greatest comebacks in sports history, he says.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, well,
Golden State game.
That Golden State game last night, definitely an interesting deal there. Obviously, they lose Boogie. DeMarcus Cousins torn calf, I think it was, or torn something or another in his leg. Can't remember exactly the term. But, they're up by 31, I think it was exactly, or something like that. And lost to the Clippers. You got an historic night for Lou Williams. He's only the second man in history to come off the bench and drop a double-double, 30 points, 10. Well, he ended up at 30 points, 11 assists, but, 30 and 10 nonetheless there. So a couple question marks, I guess, going with that. I don't think it'll cause a big concern this series, obviously, for Golden State. And I'm still on that bandwagon of I need to be proven exactly wrong that Golden State can lose until I go ahead and make that full-fledged claim. But it certainly does get interesting if you want to look at it, in that sense. And then, you also got some things, the West tends to be, I guess, a little bit more chippy, I think, throughout the year, just because of the personalities out there. But that Portland-Oklahoma City series has been interesting, to say the least, obviously. Speaking of chippy, I forgot to mention, Pat Beverly's the X factor in this Golden State Clippers series.
Yeah.
Obviously you can't keep up with Steph, but he's doing a tremendous job of keeping up with Kevin Durant in terms of, on his mind.
It's not easy. It's pretty easy. I should say it's pretty easy to get in Kevin Durant's head.
Yeah. So, be interesting in the Oklahoma City and Portland series, how that goes out the rest of the way. I Enes Kanter's doing a tremendous job right now. I'm sure Knicks fans like yourself are extremely thrilled to see that he's finally doing this.
Like Enes.
But Denver and San Antonio are playing their second game right now. And then out east,
San Antonio's winning, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. And then out east, that you have the Magic beating the Raptors in one game. Same Raptors, different coach.
Kyle Lowry scored tonight.
That's good to see. Good to hear.
The
main series out east that's been fascinating so far has been that Phillies and Nets series, because clearly the Sixers I don't think are as good as people think.
And the Nets aren't as bad as people think.
Obviously last night a little bit of a different story.
But they were in
51 points in the third quarter
was the difference.
Was crazy to watch. So, it'll be interesting to see if they can't keep up the Sixers. I think they can, just based off their shooting alone. Sixers are a very poor overall shooting team, outside of really J.J. Redick and Tobias Harris. So, it'd be interesting to kind of see what happens there, I think.
You picked Brooklyn.
I did pick Brooklyn. I did. So, I'm with them.
Just because your NHL bracket's shot right now doesn't mean your NBA can't be right.
No.
But, I think...
Yeah, and Toronto, I just got the update that Toronto beat Orlando tonight, so...
much expected. I still think the East first round is not going to be that exciting. Paul thinks Brooklyn. I don't. I like to see Brooklyn because I don't like Philly and I don't like Boston. I wish Philly and Boston would just go away. But I still think Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, and Toronto will all dominate in the first round in no more than 6 games. But the West now, on the other hand, Portland's kind of surprising me. Oklahoma City's bench is really that bad. And Denver is really that good at choking. And Greg Popovich, it's a tough first team. That's a tough first-round game to play Greg Popovich's team when you're just your first time in the playoffs in a long time.
Yeah.
A few years for Denver. That's tough to play them. You would like to play the Clippers or the Thunder. The Thunder really just aren't a good team. They have 2 star players, but they just have nobody else around them. Steven Adams. I'll give Steven Adams some credit. Give him some credit. But I still think Oklahoma City could win that series. And people stop sleeping on Utah. People are already getting ready for the Golden State Houston series. Utah can win that series. Chris Paul will probably sit out like he always does. Don't sleep on Utah. But it doesn't matter, like Paul says. It doesn't matter until the Warriors lose to prove us otherwise. So I'm still rooting for Toronto. And I don't want Golden State. It's probably going to be Toronto. I want to see Toronto Golden State in the finals. I don't want to see it. That's what I'm picking. That's what I should say. I'm picking them. But, good first couple of days. It just takes so damn long to play games in the NBA playoffs.
I'll say they'll still be going to the end of June.
Yeah, it is so bad.
Yeah, it will be interesting. You mentioned that the Jazz and Rockets, that series has kind of shown some signs of chippiness. The Jazz, they play really good defense, and that can get on the nerves of a lot of these teams now. So it'll be interesting. They have Joe Ingles, who just doesn't give a flying, And
the Warriors, were the jokes out with the Warriors, though. One quick point. It's the 3-1 series lead, 31 points. Just that's funny. But, Joe Ingles, man. Good player.
Mm-hmm.
He was on my championship fantasy basketball team.
Joe Ingles is a tremendous fantasy find. Even regular leagues and daily fantasy, he's great.
He's good. Underrated.
Yeah. So, anything else from the NBA playoffs? Like I said, it's been kind of...
No, I kind of want to hear how your trip went.
Kind of ho-hum for the most part. My trip, yeah.
Enough talking about LeBron. Oh, wait, LeBron's not in the playoffs. Sorry, LeBron fan.
Yeah, my trip to Richmond.
Here we go.
So I'll start here because you may notice that bottom part of the garage and pit pass. I wasn't even supposed to have those at first.
How'd you get them?
So Reddit, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard. You guys kind of make fun of me for it a little bit. But Chase Briscoe's a driver in the Xfinity Series. And he can give out a certain number of hot passes each year. And so he did a joke to give out a few of them. He did a contest on Reddit to give out a few of them last week. Tell your best joke. And whatever ones he likes, he'll pick, and you get the passes. So I put in a joke for it. Didn't win via him, but I got a message on Reddit from what would be technically Comcast, who owns Xfinity, who sponsors the Xfinity Series, obviously. Like, hey, you're still planning to go to Richmond? Like, yeah, So they gave me a pair of garage and pit passes for Friday, and that was a lot of fun. I was trying to get some pictures up here to show you guys, but unfortunately I could not get them to fit right. So
no,
I will share the link. I shared of some photos on Twitter. To link to my Instagram, so you guys can check those out if you ever so care to. But it's really cool. It was awesome. I got to take my dad down. We had a fun time when it wasn't raining. In all honesty, we got down there Thursday, 75, sunny. I was wearing just a t-shirt and gym shorts and my slides, and it was perfect. Friday on the other hand, it was overcast, but started off temperature-wise great, and then we spent from pretty much noon until, I'd say, 4:30, 5 o'clock underneath the grandstand. It was just raining constantly for the most part. We did not think Friday night the Xfinity race was going to get in on time, nor would it go the full distance, but it did. Cole Custer won that. He won $100,000 in the Dash for Cash. And then Saturday, we were sitting in between turns 1 and 2 at Richmond, had a couple wrecks in front of us. Martin Truex Jr. got the win there. But it was a lot of fun. Garage and pit passes were something that I've always wanted to try and secure in some way, shape, or form, and it happened. I want to, fingers crossed, hopefully get them again somehow, some way.
That's pretty cool you got them all.
Yeah. Man, you
wasn't a scam either.
It wasn't a scam. It's something that every NASCAR fan hopes to get, and I got it. Now Richmond's a little bit different. They only have one full-fledged garage area because it's a short track. So the Xfinity guys, which is what the pass before us for the Xfinity garage and pit. The Xfinity guys have their garages on pit road, since they're a one-day show technically on night race weekends. And so we were walking behind the pit boxes and tool carts. Cars were on pit road. We couldn't get onto pit road. We didn't have to there are different types of credentials for garage and pit passes. We had what's technically known as cold, which means you can't be out there during that instance when the track is hot, when there's cars on it. So, but it was still cool. We decided to sit by one of the garage entrances, the main entrance for when the Cup guys practice. I got a picture of pretty much every car coming in. That was really awesome. You get really very close. I walked by a couple drivers. I know the weird thing is, like, why didn't you say something to them? Well, if someone comes up at your job and just pesters you for something, I mean, I get it's a little bit different, but, Nick, for instance, say you're sitting at your desk at work and some random person comes up to you with a selfie autograph right now, let's do it. When you're trying to get something done, right? Like, it's probably a little bit of an annoyance.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of
that's
why I kind of look at it. Like, I walked by a couple of the drivers and I was like, hey, good luck this weekend, and they're like, thanks, they appreciate that too as well. And that's
one thing I really wanted, did you and John Russo slam some back this weekend?
Well, neither of us drink beer. Which is
tequila.
No tequila. Your Uncle Tom was not there, so even though tequila tends to be my shot of choice. No, we
Friday. Doors.
So you're not allowed to bring alcohol into the infield garage. So on Friday we didn't bring anything. But yeah, on Saturday night, we each had packed three mixed drinks. My dad Dewar's and I drink vodka in terms of mixed drinks. So brought a few of those in.
So those pit passes for the whole Friday.
Yeah, you could have done the whole Friday. Obviously, we wanted to watch the race though from the stands. It would have been cool from pit road in that area, in all honesty, but you can't get a good view from where we were for the whole deal. So
Snapchats that you were sending, those were like qualifying practice?
Which one?
They're like during the day.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah. When I was in the garage area and everything.
Yeah.
Yep, that was practice. So.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's neat. Obviously, fingers crossed, I hope somehow come across them for Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
At least for the Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, for them it'd be, if it was expanded, it'd be Saturday for that. But yeah, it's really eye-opening, really cool. You walk by even then, if like me, you watch a sport on TV every weekend. I walked by the media personalities. Jamie Love, Alan Alexander, Vince Welsh, when they're doing their job, and people don't realize either too. And when you're in the garage area, in pit area, you see it. The amount of crew guys doing just various different things. You got guys walking by you with the tire carriers, and they're hauling their tires off to go to Goodyear or back to the pit box, whatever. There was one instance where we had a guy come up behind us, and because there was a guy coming up with hot oil. Like, I don't think people realize how hot this oil gets in the engine. They have to dump it somehow, and it's literally in these like box tanks that they have to keep open, or else like the heat would cause like an explosion of some sort. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
So you have to always be on your toes in that regard too.
This is your second straight year going. Third.
Well, technically it's 3 straight years of going to Richmond. 2 straight for the spring race. The first year I went was the fall race. So, in all honesty, I'd want to go back again this fall, hopefully. It was actually really a big weekend for me in sports in general. I became officially a season ticket holder for Syracuse for football.
There you go.
So the spring race the fall race for Richmond falls on their second home game, which is Western Michigan. But, if things fall right for Richmond in that regard, I can give up the ticket that weekend. I won't have a problem with that. So yeah, like I said, I'll put the link up on Twitter here when we get done. If anybody's of interest to go check out some of those photos, I could post 10 on Instagram.
Your Twitter is?
At Paul Russo 32. Very challenging.
It's very original.
Yeah. So, yeah, but it was cool. I'll get off of it. NASCAR tends to bore a lot of people, I know. So,
no, I think it's like hockey. It's probably not as exciting on TV, but if you go there in person.
Oh, yeah, like I said, I've said this for a while. I've said to you, I want to get you to Watkins Glen, or some track at the very least. But when you go to it in person, it's a different animal.
Yeah, I bet it is.
I mean, it's not just the sound either. I mean, the smell of everything's nuts.
It's loud.
It is quite loud. Should you go for the first time, I recommend ear protection for you. I'm of the idiot side that I don't wear ear protection, and I tend to pay for it, like the day after a little bit. But what's life without a little bit of living? So
how much are the beers there?
Well, if you're dumb enough to buy one at the track, $8. $8 for a tall boy.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I think at the Knicks game they're $12.
Yeah. So, but the cool thing about NASCAR is you're allowed to pretty much, for the most part, I think the only track that doesn't allow you might be Indy.
Now, when do they stop serving? Like at a certain lap?
Whenever they run out. I'm being serious. As far as I know, it's whenever they run out.
That's cool.
Or if they just have slow business. But yeah, the cool thing about NASCAR is you're allowed to pretty much bring in, if it's not glass.
Yeah, you can bring your own alcohol, right?
Yeah, so.
That's cool.
Yep. And food. I mean, that helps too. So let's shift gears. And Nick, I'll toss it to you so you can lead it off for us.
Well, Game of Thrones just started on Sunday. There's 5 more episodes to go to the show, this series. I'm not what you call a super fan, but
That's a lie.
I've seen episodes, and so I know it. But I'm not a super fan. I'm not the one that's going to go buy an Iron Throne. But we're just doing this in the honor of the show. And there's a big war coming up in the show between the Night King and Jon Snow. They're leading each other's sides, so it's going to be very exciting. So we brought into, since our show is a sports show, and a little pop culture every few months, but we are going to decide to bring it into our show of Game of Thrones, and we're going to do our favorite sports fights of all time. So this is any sport. What is our favorites? And when I think of a sports fight, I'm a baseball guy, Paul.
Yep.
The first thing I ever think of when I think of sports fights these days is when Odor of the Texas Rangers clocked
I actually forgot
my boy
about
Jose
I actually forgot about
days.
that one when I was thinking of some earlier. I did. Damn.
That's the one I always think of
Yeah.
when I think of that was a legit fight. Pat's not here, Paul. Stop going to Pat.
Well, no, it's weird. Like,
He's not coming today.
no, when I hit 4, because you're number 4, it goes to 3. It's really confusing.
Well, anyway, that's when I really think of when I think of fights. I don't know if you really. Well, I also think of Ron Artest going into the stands.
The Malice at the Palace, of course.
Yes, that's the one I
That's
really.
a good one.
That was. I never saw that one live. Obviously, that was a little before me becoming a sports guy, and but I've seen it on YouTube, and it was pretty intense. And I don't know this third one I want to say to start out the topic. I don't know if it's a fight, but when Serena Williams started yelling at that ball,
That's not so much a fight. That's just having a history.
well, if they let her, she was going to clock
Obviously.
her too. So, but that could have been a nice fight. But when I think of fights, I think of Odor and Batista.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great one.
Yeah.
You?
So, man, there's a lot of good ones throughout the years, right? Like stuff that gets you kind of giddy.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched this one series. It's called The Worst by SB Nation. And there was a hockey fight in 1989. Literally, they fought at the end of the first period. They fought halfway through that intermission, went back to their own locker rooms, and fought literally in warm-ups for the second period. Wow. You had, in that fight, you actually had a set of brothers fighting each other. The teams were the Montreal Canadiens and the Quebec Nordiques.
When was this?
1984.
Really?
That one gets me excited because the guy commentating on for SB Nation's like, drop down the gloves and do-si-do. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, that's the type of stuff I like.
Yeah. And these fights that we're saying, it doesn't count WWE and MMA. Even though these fights that we are saying is better than the Floyd Mayweather-Pacquiao fight.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, I feel like I'd be a bit remiss in this regard as a Yankee fan if I didn't mention the Yankees Red Sox brawls, and I'll say that like in plural from 2003 to 2004 when those teams absolutely hated each other. The first one pretty much was the Pedro Martinez-Don Zimmer fight, as it's come to be known.
Who won that fight?
Really, I'd say technically neither team nor persons won that fight. Not a good look for Pedro throwing down an 80-year-old man.
No.
And then, the 2004 fight, pretty much the A-Rod Veritek fight, as many people remember it as.
I like Clemens Piazza.
That wasn't really a fight, though. Nobody really...
He did throw
Nobody really came out of the dugouts on that one,
No.
But
the Pirates-Reds was a fight. That was a
Pirates-Reds, that was good
just
recently. Only because... I feel like really the only good part of that was because you had Tucker Barnhart literally grabbing Puig by the foot and having, like, no effect on it. That and former Pirate current Red Jared Hughes losing his hat and looking for it, and a Pirate just tossing it back to him and him like being, hey, thanks. Another good fight. We'll go on back to the NASCAR side.
Okay.
There's been some good ones there over the years. But being a Jeff Gordon fan, my favorite has to be 2014 at Texas when him and Brad Keselowski fought and literally drew blood on each other. That also featured Kevin Harvick pushing Keselowski to start the fight. So that was pretty nuts. That involved literally crew members from 4 different teams, a 5th team trying to separate it, and media member Jamie Little somehow in the middle of that as well. So that fight was nuts. Basketball ones, it's hard to not just bring up Malice in the Palace. And then a little bit more closer to that, I guess, really, you have the Carmelo Anthony Denver Nugget fight versus Nate Robinson and the New York Knicks in 2007, I think it was, 2007 or 2008.
Our teams back in the day, Jeff Van Gundy.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was a good one only because of that. You had that stuff building because that goes back to actually being on the Charlotte Hornets as teammates. Alonzo Mourning for the Heat and Larry Johnson for the Knicks hating each other. And I forgot who exactly did what. I forget who on the Heat tackled Charlie Ward pretty much, and that was the first instance of it. And then you were in the playoffs, and you have Jeff Van Gundy, for whatever reason, just grabbing at Alonzo Mourning, thinking that he was going to stop him.
Wasn't there a big NBA fight just a couple years ago? Wasn't it Rondo? Maybe I'm not thinking that right, but
that happened this year. Rondo and Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, yeah, Rondo.
That happened this year.
I thought it was early. Wasn't it like the first week of the season?
First like month within the first month. It wasn't really so much a fight. Well, there was a lot of hold me back. You had spit being thrown at each other. It was weird.
Any football? I mean, there's always fights.
Football one. The only one that kind of sticks out to me, I guess, in our lifetime would have to be from the pro side anyway. Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan. Man, this had to have been almost 7 or 8 years ago now.
Norman and Odell.
Yeah, well, they never exactly fought though.
But that one you just
it was those two idiots pretty much just spearing each other in various instances.
But the Johnson Finnegan one was legit.
Yeah, that was a legit. They were punching each other, trying to actually kill each other.
Yeah, that's right.
College side, Pat won't like this, but the one that really sticks out to me is definitely the Miami Hurricanes and FIU in 2006, where you had the Hurricanes players throwing their helmets at FIU guys and.
I think just out of respect, that's true, but out of respect, just throw Grayson Allen's name out there.
Well, yeah, but he never fought anyone, though. I mean...
He was looking for one.
Well, yeah, but he was just tripping people, and they were smart. The other team was smart enough to know not to come back.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with sports.
Yeah. You can't really
start something, but it's hard to get a legit fight in.
Yeah, there's not a ton of violence.
Unless you go outdoor and just go straight up, well. Is that the best punch? That was a legit Odor on Batista.
Yeah, I mean, he landed. Oh, well, he had Bryce Harper and Hunter Strickland a couple years ago, too.
Yep.
But, as I just hiccup.
And then, remember Posey in that fight? Just let him go out there. He didn't even go out.
Because Hunter Strickland's a known D-bag as well. I mean, as I say, what do you expect? And then he gets mad at Bryce, when he hits a home run or something. Maybe you don't hang one, dude.
Or what about that fan in soccer? Went out and punched his soccer player.
That's weird.
Yep. And then there's also, I think, if I can recall, there was a fight in squash one time.
I don't know about that.
This big guy, he fought. I don't know if he punched him or not, but he was a nice play. But I think it brings a little spark to the game.
Yeah.
Not really negative spark, but it's just
it's spark nonetheless.
It's definitely spark, and it's just it's not good to see, but I love it when my team gets in these fights. Just because, it shows that you really have a lot of heart to the game.
Yeah.
You mean a lot to the game, and you want to show all your emotions out there on the field or court or tennis, or I don't know, field. The field or court. I think that's what. Or the diamond. But, yeah. I'll
Fights are great. Let's just admit, fights are great.
And I do think Jon Snow will win his fight.
Okay.
And I will say Odor Batista is my favorite. You have a favorite?
None in particular. I just love them all.
Yeah.
That was fun. I like that final topic. Good job, Nick. Round of applause. Round of applause for Nick.
Please. I'll come up with another good topic in a few months.
So with that being said, that takes us to the end of the show today. As always, we greatly appreciate you guys tuning in and listening whenever you are. Nick, who are you shouting out today?
You don't? Well, actually, we got a comment here about 45 minutes ago. My brother, Matt Felice, said on it, Rory is the worst. Rory McIlroy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, that's his opinion.
You heard it from Matt.
We agree. So.
We agree.
Today's shout out is my friend. It's stick on the NASCAR.
All right.
My friend Josh's friend named Cody Decker is his name.
Oh, so I was wondering who that was.
Yes, he's a big NASCAR guy, and he wants to come on the show sometime, Paul. So we're thinking maybe we get Josh and him, and we have a whole NASCAR extravaganza.
Look, I love NASCAR.
At least give him 20 minutes.
I love NASCAR as much as like the next big NASCAR over, but this is not the demographic for voice at the
Give him 20 minutes. You two just go at it. Me and Josh, we'll play
devil's advocate.
Yes, but yeah, shout out Cody, man. Good kid, loves his NASCAR, and is becoming a legit, quiet, closet fan of the show.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Cody.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
Good kid.
We'll catch you next week here. Anyway,
I'll be here.
And much like everyone else, we'll catch you guys next week on the Fresh Shakes podcast. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, comment, all the fun stuff that you do on the internet with podcasts and stuff.
Tweet at them.
Yes, that too. We'll catch you guys next time on the Fresh Takes podcast.